This is why I will take the bet that we just laid out there, which is that he said in all of his years in public service, and this is a guy that's been doing this for decades, he has never been approached more by, he said, tech leaders and industry leaders and innovators, and he did say millionaires and billionaires, who want to now help the government however they can. We have had a bureaucratic state that has just taken from the people. Suddenly we have people like Bobby Kennedy and like Elon who are volunteering, who could be doing all those other things that Elon could be doing, that he probably
We
should be
need
doing.
more Elon Musk. What struck me, talking to you, Gary,
Exactly.
you know what, I'd love to see someone like you get stuck into the NHS and make it a better economic model. You're obviously brilliant at economics, right? We don't have enough brilliant brains sorting out the big problems in this country. One of the reasons I really am excited by the Elon Musk thing in America is at least stuff's getting done at breakneck speed, which should have probably been done decades ago. Now, will it work? I don't know. But I certainly would bet on him to make a real difference for good.
Well, do you know where those...
and I would bet on you to do that, right? People like you should be getting stuck into issues like the NHS, big smart guys who can work it out.
Doge is saving $50 billion a day already. We're a month into this
Listen,
already.
I would love to be getting stuck into the NHS. You know, if Keir Starmer's listening, give me a call.
I'm going to
listen, I've been to Oxford and I've been to London School of Economics. Do you want me to tell you where those brilliant minds are? I'll tell you right now, they're the best minds, the smartest young people in this country, in America.
The city.
They're sitting on trading floors, making $5 million a year, betting on the collapse of your society.
Right.
Just like I was. All of the smart guys know. All of the smart guys know. The only difference is I'm the one who's fucking stupid enough to walk away to tell people. That's the only difference, mate.
Well, actually, I don't think that makes you stupid at all. I think it's a warning sign we should all take very seriously, because you obviously understand economics very well and you've been there. I think the only quibble I have, and Dave has it, is about how we resolve this. I'm not convinced that the way you think it can be resolved would actually be as effective as the way we think it could, but we'll see. Right?
We'll see.
The proof will be in the pudding. In the meantime, Trading Game by Gary Stevenson. I think we've heard enough to know it's probably a rollicking read. I'm told some great stories in it. So congratulations, #1 bestseller. That's another amazing achievement for a working class boy from Ilford.
Thank you.
You should be proud.
I am.
It's great to have you on the show. Welcome back. Love having you. Okay, so Jesus, it turns out, is a black woman. Your thoughts?
Well, listen, Piers, you know that I don't like to feign outrage just for the purpose of feigning outrage. So I'll tell you, I have a unique take on this, and I think you're going to be surprised. So I first of all want to point out the hypocrisy, because if this were the other way around, and it would be, you know, a white man playing a role that should have gone to maybe a black woman, there would be outrage and hysteria from the left, and maybe understandably so, I don't know. But it would be claims of cultural appropriation. We'd never hear the end of it. I don't want to do that, though, because I got to tell you, Piers, when they put on these musicals, these productions, they're probably going to have people from the LGBT community in them. I understand that that's part of the culture of not only Hollywood, but also theater. I think it's a little ridiculous. I obviously think maybe it was also meant to poke the eye of Christians and people that, I don't know, might be followers of Jesus Christ. Maybe that was part of the point. But I'm not going to get outraged just for the case of being outraged. I think that Hollywood and culture and entertainment has lost step with the average person, certainly the average American, long ago. So let them have their freak shows. I'm not going to get too upset about it.
Wow. Okay. A devastatingly surprising twist to events from a very moderate and reasonable Tommy Lehman about this, when I thought you'd be blowing your stack. So, Ernest, my question for you is, so I want to play Nelson Mandela, okay, in a new musical version of his life. You good with that?
I mean, personally, I'm not. But
You're not?
I think that the
You're not
reality
good with
is that I'm not. Personally, no. I don't think
Why?
you're that
Well,
good
hang
of
on.
an
Okay,
actor.
so that's interesting. So why can't I play Nelson Mandela?
I mean, I think that he's a historical figure that people are familiar with. I mean, there are various variations of Jesus.
But I'm an actor.
We have been seeing in America
hang on. I'm an
various
actor.
white
I'm an actor. I've been in 10 movies. They've grossed $2.6 billion, the movies I've been in. I'm literally one of the biggest box office stars in terms of cameos in the history of movies. So I would like to play Nelson Mandela. Is your objection, be honest, my skin color? That he's a black icon, quite rightly. Is it the fact that I'm a white guy? Is that why I can't play him?
I mean, are you trying to make the correlation between Cynthia Erivo? I mean, you can argue that Cynthia Erivo playing Jesus is a gender thing.
Hang on. I'm going to come to that.
So which one is it?
I'm coming to
Which one is
Cynthia.
it?
I'm just
Okay.
asking you, on principle, is your objection to me playing Mandela the fact that I'm white? Be honest.
If it's a historical biopic, yes, because you're not.
Okay.
So therefore,
Second
yes.
question.
Because it's a historical biopic.
Second question. If it was a woman that wanted to play Mandela, how would you feel?
Historical figure-wise, if it was a biopic, it would be historically inaccurate. So no.
Okay, great. So we've established that you don't like people playing roles where they don't have the right skin color or gender, if we know who that role is. Who that person.
For historical purposes, because Cleopatra, Elizabeth, Taylor playing Cleopatra was historically inaccurate, and I wasn't a fan of that.
Well, they were both women,
I wasn't a
weren't
fan
they?
of.
They were
Also,
both women.
if you want to talk about. If you want to talk about race, for example, Zoe Saldana, doing, the dark blackface for Nina Simone was also inappropriate. I wasn't a fan of that either.
Okay, so on Cynthia Erivo, do you have any problem with her? Okay, do you have a problem then with Jesus being played by a black woman?
If you understand the theme of it all, of what Jesus Christ Superstar the musical is, and you have that theatrical, historical context behind that musical specifically, then no, I don't have a problem with it because it is part of it, it's satirical. So if you understand satire, then you understand why Tomi Lahren is also not giving a damn about it, because she understands the context on the musical front. So we can agree on that.
Nadrotic, where are we with this?
Well, I don't have a dog in this fight. And I remember my mom playing Jesus Christ Superstar all the time. And we all know that this isn't the first time a black woman or a woman has played Jesus, and they'll do it 1,000 more times. I am from the point of view that because this is an all-female production, apparently. So when you have to gender swap an entire cast, that just means your story is played out. We have Ocean's 8 for one example, Doctor Who for another one. But as far as this is concerned, I just think it's the lowest hanging fruit, and it's such a played out thing in Hollywood. Yes, they're playing to the home team. This is going to be at the Hollywood Bowl. But playing to the home team is one thing. They're trying to piss people off at this point. And I'm just going to say, as a believer in free speech and free expression, let's not stop there. I want to hear Muhammad Superstar. Let's do that play, played by all women. Let's go. Let's go all the way on this one. Come on, let's see what happens, Hollywood. You're so edgy. Let's do it.
And actually, you raise a very good point, because they would never dare do that.
No.
So it's one rule
Never.
for Christianity and lampooning and satire. Very, very different rule if it was Islam was the religion that was being mocked in that way. Okay, let's just move to the. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason's with us. I'm so sorry, Jason Lee. Jason, welcome. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Nearly
listen,
forgot
Piers,
about you, but
Piers,
I rescued him back.
Piers, now you know I love you. I love coming to your show because you always create a controversial conversation. No, you did not just ask a black man if a white man can play Nelson Mandela during Black History Month. I know you didn't just ask that question. Now you know there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell we're gonna allow that to happen.
Why?
There's not a white man on this earth that has spent 27 years fighting for freedom like Nelson Mandela
So why
did.
should a black woman play Jesus Christ, who was a bloke with a beard?
But well, first of all, you talking
they got a lot
there's
in
two black
common.
people on your show right now. Some would argue in the Bible that Jesus was black, but I'm not going to pass to Tomi Lahren, who had a lot to say at the top about the gays, because nobody wants to acknowledge history, and the fact is that it is what it is. Now, if you want to read the Bible, if any of you do it, it talks about Jesus having wool hair. I don't know white people with wool hair. I know black people with wool hair, but again, we don't want to describe Jesus as being black.
Can we agree that? All right, but can we agree, Jason, that Jesus was male, a man?
Listen, you can poll 20 people about who Jesus was, and you may get 20 different answers.
Have you ever heard anyone say he's a woman? Have you ever heard anyone say he's a woman?
Passion of the Christ. I didn't see a woman carrying the cross, but Mel Gibson got canceled right after that movie. So I don't know what is. I can say to me, Jesus is more of energy. Jesus is more of a spiritual being. Jesus can be black. Jesus could be a woman. Jesus could be whoever you want it to be.
No, Jesus.
But when it comes in our country,
Jesus was a bloke.
Go ahead.
He was a man.
Yeah, not a concept.
Sorry, Nadrolik?
Was he a white man?
Oh,
Was he a
it's
white
not
man,
a
Piers?
concept.
Right. I don't know why we're
What is
quibbling.
it then?
Surely we can all agree he was a man, can't we?
But it's not a biopic. It's a satire. It's not. I mean, I think you're taking
It's
it too
kind of a
seriously.
biopic. He's like the most famous person in the history of the planet.
You gotta lighten up, Piers. You gotta lighten up, Piers.
The conversation they really want to have is that this is a DEI hire, that this is a DEI move, that this is because everything right now we're trying to get it all into the direction of DEI to fall into that national.
I haven't mentioned DEI.
No, that's what Hollywood's been doing.
I haven't mentioned it.
Actually,
you're the ones obsessed with DEI, which I think has always been a ridiculous thing because all it ever did was promote.
Who came up with it?
All it ever do was promote mediocrity over meritocracy. I just don't like it. I don't like anything that does that. It was never about inclusion. If anything, it was about excluding people. That was the whole point. If you were a white bloke, DEI wanted you excluded.
We could debate DEI all day, but people who are fighting about DEI are still trying to find affordable eggs in our country. You know what I mean? Right now, we have a president who's passing plastic straws and not focusing on the needs of America, but that's a whole other show.
Okay.
I think Cynthia Erivo
hang on.
I think she's an amazing talent. I can't wait to see her play Jesus.
Just remind me again, who's been president for 4 years when the price of eggs reached the price of eggs?
I don't even eat eggs like that. I'm sorry, I haven't brought that up.
Oh, well, you raised the price of eggs.
Joe Biden is on vacation. Let's let Joe sleep.
Okay, so it wasn't the guy who's actually been in charge for 4 years.
So he'll just continue it.
Look, let's turn to something less contentious. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So the SNL had its star-studded 50th anniversary party. All of Hollywood was great and good were there. And there was this weird clip of Ryan Reynolds. Let's take a look. Now, Tommy, I don't know about you. I felt very awkward watching that on a number of levels. I felt like Kevin Costner, who went viral because he just was staring at them both in total, like, bemusement. Because they've tried to make out that this case against Justin Baldoni is about appalling sexual harassment. Why are they turning that into the subject of a little skit at SNL?
Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively both are desperate to revamp their public image. And I think that they really overplayed their hand. I think that they're both bullies, and I think that they thought they were going to silence somebody by throwing around the old Me Too argument and delegitimizing people that have actually gone through traumatic experiences and assault and harassment. And I thought because they were Hollywood's golden couple and they were sitting in Super Bowl suites with Taylor Swift that they could get away with it because they could just run the game. And it turns out Justin Baldoni wasn't going to play that game. He wasn't going to allow himself to be bullied into silence. And I think Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds both have egg on their face now. They look ridiculous, and they're desperate to seem like they're this fun, lighthearted couple. But really, I think that their cultural relevance is going out pretty quickly here, kind of like the Democrat Party. And I think they're desperate at this point. I think it's awkward, and I think soon we won't have to deal with either one of them being all over everything all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, it is extraordinary because the more they bang on, the worse the hole gets dug. Because it's just all cringe-making. No one's really buying any of it. All the evidence that emerges, whether it's text messages, video footage, whatever, contradicts everything that they've been claiming. Shouldn't they just admit that this is going nowhere and get out of it?
No, this is rich people problems. Listen, they look good together. They're still rich. They're still famous. They're in rooms that the lady that just spoke can never get in. And somehow she connected that to the Democratic Party because everything in the world that's going wrong is the Democrats' fault. That was just stupid. But listen, this is rich people problems. Blake is beautiful. Her husband is super successful. I'm proud to see that they don't care and can laugh at themselves and continue to be rich and famous and fabulous while we sit here and talk about the price of eggs and Democrats.
Okay, Nadronic.
Oh, I think it's going. I don't think this story is going away anytime soon, considering the court cases in March of 2026 and TikTok, which I'm a famous TikToker, by the way, almost as much as I'm an Africa expert, is all over this. And that's why it's still a story. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm going to just break out my popcorn. I'll agree. It's rich people problems, but that's the currency they're trading on is not money. As you know, it's ego. Yeah. And this is going to really hurt Blake Lively's career. Ryan Reynolds, to what effect, I don't know. Justin Baldoni, we know with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, I was Team Depp, it didn't help either of them at the end. You know, Depp was exonerated, but nobody apologized to him like they should have. And at the end, everybody's going to be, well, they're going to have a lot less money. The lawyers are going to be richer. But as far as public perception is concerned, they're definitely on Donnie's side.
Yeah,
sure.
I think that's right. And Ernest, I mean, the thing that I was struck by was just, it kind of confirms a lot of what people have suspected about Hollywood, is that they talk to each other in this completely fake, obsequious manner. And then on a dime, it all turns into visceral hatred and this desire to destroy each other in the way that we saw play out.
You know what? Piers, totally agree with what you just said. And this year, we honored Jonathan Majors at our award show, the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards, and everybody was mad that we were honoring Jonathan Majors. And then on the other side of that, cancellation, he was acquitted of all those charges, and then everybody was forgiven and now wants to be his friend again. It's so fake that, again, I don't like trying people in the court of public opinion because we never really know until the conclusion of it all. And then even then, nobody will care. Look at what happened with Jay-Z and the 13-year-old, right?
Well,
all the people were talking about it, and then the minute those charges got dropped, nobody really talked about it.
Ernest?
Okay, but what I would say about that anyway was that I think the problem is we focus too much on conflating celebrities' experiences with everyday people's experiences, right? So two things can be true at the same time, right? There could be some serious Me Too incidents that take place that happens everyday life, but activists and other folks sometimes will let celebrities be the vehicle for what those issues are. Okay, what happens to everyday people in situations where there's abuse of power or sexual abuse, those things are still legitimate, and they don't ride off of whether a celebrity situation is true or not true, or happened or didn't happen. I think that's what happens a lot in media, is that there's too much of a conflation of like, what if Blake Lively is doing the most, that does not speak to the real issues that happen with people that are not as famous. And I think too many people put too much of their bets and laurels on these celebrities to define the moment or not.
All right,
and I think that's just too much.
Let's turn to another fake in Hollywood, or near Hollywood. Meghan Markle. Tommy, she's issued a video statement, one of many, been a flurry recently, all of them hilarious, but not for the reasons that she would have hoped, saying her new Netflix show that was going to be called, or based around her American Riviera Orchard brand, the new Martha Stewart, has now been replaced by As Ever as the brand. And As Ever, we're all laughing at the video, which is the irony. And the show's been delayed because it's due out in March because of the fires in LA, obviously. But I want to play a clip of this just to get your reaction to it.
It's recording.
Okay. Cat's out of the bag. I'm shocked we've kept this a secret for so long. My business, which I think there's been a lot of curiosity about. I thought about it. And I've been waiting for a moment to share a name that I had secured in 2022. And this is the moment. And it's called As Ever. Of course, there will be fruit preserves. I think we're all clear at this point that jam is my jam. But there's so many more products that I just love that I use in my home. And now it's time to share it with you. So I can't wait for you to see it. Thanks, guys.
I mean, Tommy, everything about it just makes me cringe. But obviously, I'm not an impartial observer here. What do you make of it?
Well, listen, every time we talk about Meghan Markle, it's really just to make fun of her. And that's where the clips go most viral, is on social media, for people to literally just make fun of her. She's so disconnected. And I'll tell you, I don't really care what she does. I don't care how hard she tries to revamp her image. I think that she is like the Colin Kaepernick of Hollywood or entertainment at this point. No one really cares. She took a stance and no one really remembers what that was or can make sense of it. But I'll also say this. What really bothered me is when she did the little destruction tour in LA with the wildfires to get her little moment when people were actually struggling and people actually lost everything. And then they had to trot out there with their PR campaign and make light of it and make themselves seem like heroes, just getting in the way of people who are actually trying to help. That to me was a bridge too far. But otherwise, I think nobody's going to watch the Netflix show. I also think she's lazy, as evidenced by her, various other media deals that she didn't fulfill. So best of luck to her. I think that, like Blake Lively and the rest of them, she's got maybe 6 months to a year left where anyone actually cares what she's doing. So she better live it up while she can with her fruit preserves.
With her jam, because jam is her jam, Ernest. What's that, Ernest?
No, I was going to say, not as long as Piers Uncensored has a show. She'll be talked about for on and on.
Well, you can't
2
ignore
years
it.
ago,
The thing
when
is,
I first came on this show,
every time I feel a bit like
you love her, Piers.
Now, tell you what I feel. Tell you what I feel like, Ernest. I feel like Al Pacino in Godfather 3. When he finally says, every time I try and leave the mafia world, they suck me back in. It's a bit like that with Harry and Meghan. You cannot go more than 2 weeks without them doing something stupid that you can't help talking about because it's all over the media. You can pretend that no one's talking about it, but they're everywhere.
But you're a part of the media. And you amplify it. Because you still got the hearts on for her, and you won't let her go. And you just got to admit that.
I love that theory. It always makes me laugh so much. You obviously never met my wife, have you?
I mean, listen,
have you,
I'm gonna
Ernest?
leave it alone. But I'm just saying, you will not stop bothering her.
All right, let me bring in Jason.
I mean, the only time I've ever been on a show where people have had this much disdain for Meghan Markle has been this show, and I agree with the guy who just spoke. I think that Piers, somewhere she has a special place in your cold heart. But listen, Tommy, Tommy, I think the thing, because I think Tommy's a beautiful woman. I've watched Tommy on social media for a long time, and I can't wait to get in a room with you one day.
Wow! Whoa!
It's the thing about. Well, I'm gay, so it's not anything sexual.
To interview her.
Let me say the thing that I love. The thing that I love about Meghan Markle. The thing I love about Meghan Markle is she can literally be sitting in a flower bed in her garden talking about how happy she is with her man. And Tommy and Piers will still find something negative to say about the woman. What is wrong? Why is the hate?
Right.
What is the hate about?
I don't even hate them. I don't hate it. I just think they're ridiculous people. And the reason I dislike them is because of what they did to the royal family here and the monarchy. You guys wouldn't understand it.
You ran out the country.
You ran out the country.
You ran out the UK, and you're still bothering her.
Return them blood diamonds to Africa. I told you the royal family still hasn't apologized for Diana. I mean, the royal family, that's the whole show, Piers. Meghan didn't do anything but try to be the next queen, and they ran her up out of there.
No, you could not be more wrong. Honestly, you guys have no idea. You guys have no idea what happened with these two and the monarchy here. They spent all their time trashing the royal family and the monarchy, and now they want to live off their royal titles and make money being low-rent celebrities. Good luck to them, but I will call them out to my heart's content, my little soft heart's content.
Well, I love how that female Jesus that we pray to just kicked Tommy out the show. Where'd she go?
Tommy just disappeared like that moment. It's a bit like that moment in Star Trek when they get zapped upstairs. Nadrotic, I won't bore you or insult your intelligence by asking you for a comment on the royals. They're not even royals as far as I'm concerned. George Clooney, though, interesting, appeared on Colbert and said this.
This is democracy, and this is how it works. And what the hell?
How'd it go this time for you? I forgot who you were supporting.
Well, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Storm the Capitol? It's like it didn't work out. That's what happens. Power kind of hates the Fourth Estate. They hate journalism. And my father's an anchorman and a newsman, and we've always believed in the idea of when the other three estates, the judiciary branch and the executive branch, and when they all fail you really need that Fourth Estate, right? It has to be the people that can hold people to account.
I mean, the thing I think, following on from Jon Stewart, who also overnight said the Liberals have got to stop calling Trump and his supporters fascists because it diminishes the power of the word. I'm getting a feeling that leading Democrats, stroke Liberals, are getting the memo, albeit belatedly, that they've got to change tack, particularly in the way they deal with Trump, because the majority of Americans voted for him.
They did, and proudly, and he's doing what they voted for, whether some people like it or not. But that's a clear reaction to what's happened, particularly over the last 4 years, where the Fourth Estate was working with the state. So that's been part of the problem. And with USA, well, I'll say USAID, I have another word for it, and their work with Politico, that's just peeling back a little bit of the curtain of the buggery that was going on between corporate media and the government. And it should be disturbing to everyone, because if one side can do it, then the other side can do it. And we don't want either side to do it. We want there to be a Fourth Estate, but it hasn't existed in America in a long time. There's no objectivity in journalism. I wish there was. And we're starting to find it through independent journalists, because they filled the vacuum that the corporate media had left behind a long time ago. And this has been a long time building up in our country. And you're dealing with some of the consequences in your country right now. We still have some free speech here. I'm not sure if you will very much longer. What's happening in Germany is disturbing. What's happening in the UK is disturbing. Like, even, I don't know if people are getting arrested, but even getting a ticket for a meme, we're in demolition man at this point.
Yeah, look, I would say a lot of that stuff has been wildly exaggerated and there are key facts missing. But some of the stories involving people in this country, the UK, being arrested for stuff they put on Facebook and things, I think are ridiculous. And we have got to defend free speech more passionately than this and pick our battles. Ernest, I mean, types of people like Clooney, Jon Stewart and others, they're big leading lights of the Democrats, and they're clearly signaling there's got to be a change in the way the Democrats deal with Trump this time around. They can't just spend 4 years calling him a Nazi, calling him a fascist, screaming and screaming and screaming. You've got to actually deal with him a different way. What do you think of that?
I think you need to take a look in the mirror. I mean, I think they were the ones that drove a lot of that kind of rhetoric, and then with things that they didn't amplify certain other voices that were trying to break it down.
Tommy is back, by the way. That's what breaking news.
Black media.
Tommy is rejoining us, another scene out of Star Trek. There she is.
Turn my mic on.
Cool. But,
Tommy, are you with us?
Right. So, yes.
I am back.
We were terrified. You suddenly got just zapped out as if you'd been snatched by aliens.
Well, listen, the technical end, you guys didn't extend my window long enough, but I have a lot to say. I've been listening. I haven't missed a beat, and you guys are right into my area now because I cannot wait to defend our wonderful president, Donald J. Trump. So you just let me know, Piers, where you'd like me to pick up.
Okay, great. Well, let's just let Ernest finish.
In a nutshell, I think the thing is that someone said earlier that he's doing exactly what people want. Right now there is departments in science that's trying to find cures to certain cancers. And right now they may not be able to get there to find the cure because a lot of people are getting laid off and getting fired and everything else. So I don't know if that's what a lot of people wanted, because I think we all want cures to cancers and other diseases, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I don't think that's what people want. 200,000 jobs that are sliced, not all 200,000 jobs that belong to liberals or progressives, but 200,000 jobs that belong to families that are in Virginia and other areas. I don't think a lot of people wanted that as well.
Okay.
So,
Tommy,
I don't know if everything that you're claiming people want is what people want.
All right, Tommy, before you respond to that, I want to play another clip from the SNL night, which has got a lot of traction, which is Tom Hanks apparently mocking MAGA.